Hello there. That's right, I'm back again. I literally haven't got up yet, even though I am cold and want to go put on pants. I missed a video on Wednesday, and I said I wasn't gonna film a makeup video, but I lied. That's what I'm doing right now. So that video is talking about my mind, which is crazy. It's messed up. And there's a couple of ways in which it's messed up. First of all, you had to hear about the gender stuff, because you had to have that background of me not being a girl to understand dysphoria. Yeah, I kind of drew on my fingernails with markers, because I am still a prepubescent in that way. I'm not actually a prepubescent, I'm 17, but I'm internally like 6. And like 80 at the same time. Anyway. So yeah, there's this whole dysphoria thing, and dysphoria is a really complicated thing that I can just really only describe as a sense of gender wrongness. And I found a really cool analogy, which is that it's like culture shock. And it's like when I was in Guatemala, I couldn't speak Spanish, I couldn't understand anything. And I had to instruct these kids on crafts, and I had to keep them from stabbing each other with scissors, and our translator was busy on her phone, and then this soccer ball came and crashed into the window, and glass broke and nearly fell on kids, and I was freaking out, and I was so frustrated, and I was hot, and I couldn't breathe, and I was out of water, and I wouldn't get access to water for like another hour, because we had forgotten our water at the campsite, and it was like 115 degrees. Plus humidity, and I just sat behind this desk and I put my head in my hands, and I wished we could go back to the hotel and that people miraculously spoke English and that there was miraculously air conditioning. Most people, I think, would simply just want to go home, but I don't like my home that much. Compared to Guatemala. I loved Guatemala. I don't want to go back. I'm not healthy enough to go back. I wasn't healthy enough to go in the first place, but I'm definitely not healthy enough to go back. And I can recognize that. Anyway. So it's this idea, this frustration, because I am supposed to be doing something. I'm supposed to be speaking Spanish and teaching these kids these things, and I cannot fulfill that role. So I'm here on Earth, masquerading as a woman. I was born in this thing where I'm supposed to be female, and everybody else seems to know how that works, and I'm not a female, and I cannot fulfill that role. But everybody expects it of me, and it's frustrating, and I just cannot cope with it very much. So a lot of that dysphoria is triggered by things like when I have to fill out forms and mark girl or boy or male or female. Or when I'm in conversation and have to refer to myself as a girl. When I hear other people, kind of. A lot of it has to do with my long hair. I want to shave my head. I might do that if I get like financially independent and I'm still making videos. I might make a video of me shaving my head, because it's not necessarily because I don't like my long hair, but because it's associated with femininity, and I'm already really feminine because I like got boobs and hips and stuff, and so I very much look like the stereotype of a girl, which is problematic because I need to distance myself from that. And then, like, my period is just a mess. I don't know where that comes from, except, like, it's very much tied to womanhood. Yeah, but I acknowledge that it isn't, and it still is weird, and it also hurts so much, and it's just like, who wants to bleed? So then there's this gender dysphoria thing. And gender dysphoria, if it's significant enough, causes me to do this fancy, wonderful thing called disassociate. And disassociating is sort of almost like an out-of-body experience. I cannot really describe this, but it like happens when I am in immense discomfort or pain. So it happened, or even not necessarily, like when I get my blood drawn, I disassociate. Like I went last Wednesday, and I was watching the dude stab me. And I was like the only one watching. My mom wasn't watching later. He said he wasn't watching when he stabbed me with a needle. Whatever. Don't look what you're doing, that's fine. He said, oh, as long as you're watching, it's good for all of us. Like, no! That's your job. Anyway, so I'm watching, and he sticks it in, and it, like, doesn't hurt, but it also doesn't seem like he's sticking me with it. It's like he's sticking somebody else who happens to exist in the ways in which I exist, but it's not me. So it's like an out-of-body experience, but I'm not really, like, looking at myself. It's just not me. It's not like a split personality either. I don't know. It's disassociating. Anyway, so that's, like, all of the gender stuff that's wrong with my mind. And then, of course, there's all of the frustration I have from being sick and the, like, depression that I feel over that, and the anxiety I feel over my health, and the frustration, and the tiredness, and the insomnia from worrying. Like, oh my gosh. We were talking in church, we had this analogy. I don't even know what it was for, but she was like, imagine you're an alien in a society and you're trying to figure out, like, how you got in this body, because you have your consciousness, but you're in a different alien body, and you're running around, and you're trying to figure out what's going on and how to get help, because for all you know, your body could self-destruct at any second. And that's kind of where I'm at with my health, because at any minute it could deteriorate significantly, and I could, like, end up in the hospital and die. Because nobody knows what's going on, so nobody knows what's going to cause it to get worse. Like, I'm experiencing entropy at a significantly faster rate than I should be. I'm going, I think, to die before the average American dies. Not because I want to, like, don't get me wrong, this is not like a suicide letter or anything, God, no. No. But I just don't feel, I just have this sort of sense that I'm not going to reach, like, 80 or 70 or maybe even 60, probably not even 50. Anyway, that's all to do with my physical body. Now it's just my mind. Like, what the fuck are you doing, brain? I'm like, I have depression. And I haven't been diagnosed. But it's not like I just took Quizlet quizzes. Are you depressed? I mean, I did. But I did other research. I read articles written by doctors. I read all the stuff that doctors read. I read my mom's copy of the DMV. And then when they released the new copy of the DMV, or whatever it's called. I think it's the TMV. That's like the big book of mental health. I read excerpts from the new edition. And so at first I thought it was like mild depression, you know, it's fine. Just occasionally, like, why would I eat my yogurt in the morning when I'm just so tired of living? And then it got, like, worse, and I could tell, and it became really significant. And I wrote it off as SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, because it mainly happened in the winter. But then this summer, I've just been like, I've had super bad days, and so it's not SAD, and I don't want to say it's like major depression, but when I can't do my pre-calc homework because I'm thinking, why on earth, Hannah, aren't you going and stepping in front of a bus? Like, what is the point? Then I think I have problems, and, like, I come up with points, I come up with reasons, and so, like, do I want to die? Kinda, low-key, but no, but I'm not going to, because in order to die, I would have to, like, lose faith, and I'm not going to lose faith, and I have this weird sense that I owe people my existence, because they didn't abandon me, so I can't abandon them. And, like, that's a really messed up way of existing. Feeling like your existence is something you owe others. But I think if it keeps me around, then it has to be worth something. It's this idea I got from Hannah Hart's Sticking Around video, where she asks you to keep sticking around, and so I kind of have to, for Hannah, and for all of the people at church who didn't abandon me when I thought they did, and for everybody, and I feel like I owe it to God. Like, Paul talks about how he wants to die, for to live is Christ and to die is gain, because when you're dead, as Christians, we believe you, like, go to heaven and party with Jesus, and that's the most amazing thing you can't imagine. You just can't grasp how awesome it would be. So why wouldn't we offer ourselves? Because, well, we have to serve God in whatever capacity He tells us to. And so I owe it to Him, you know. Gotta do His work. I have a Paul complex. I don't know what it means, but one of my friends told me that I do, and, well, I guess I do. I think it just means I relate to Paul. I don't like what he says about women, or slaves obeying their masters, but I like Paul. So then I have, like, mild anxiety, mild social anxiety, and I do think this is mild. It's like I don't want to talk to people on the phone. And, like, I will cry if I have to make a phone call, but, you know, other than that, it's fine. I have a lot of anxiety wrapped up with my school. So much so that I've established I don't do homework not because of laziness, but I don't do homework because I'm so anxious about school that I cannot bring myself to do anything associated with it. Which is why, fun fact, I didn't do my summer homework, any of it, till like the day before I went back to school. Do not recommend. Turns out I still actually haven't done some of it. I don't think I'm ever going to do that. But it's why I'm not writing my AP Gov essays. Even though I love AP Gov and I love politics and I love talking about all that stuff, I can't because it's associated with school and my school is a mess. My school, like, condemns my existence. My school says I don't exist at all. Not directly to me because I'm not out there in any capacity, but, like, mentally ill people are of the devil, and queer people deserve death and things of that nature, and it's really scary, and, like, I want to leave, but every time I ask God, can I leave, He says no. And for some of you that might not be a good enough reason not to go, but for me it is. I feel called to be there, and, like, it's really frustrating. And so I get all sorts of anxiety about that. Like, what do you do when your friends, or the closest you have to friends, say, like, that Russia, or not Russia, like Uganda or whatever, are justified in killing people for being gay because at least they're doing something to stop the problem? What do I do with that? Nothing. I can't do anything with that. So yeah, I disassociate, depression, I have, like, mild anxiety, about mild social anxiety, and some significant situational anxiety. And so now you, like, just go see a therapist, you know. Well, I hate therapy. I mean, I hate what I hear of it, because the mental health industry has horrendous abuses, and I can't get into that because this is already, like, over 13 minutes, and I'm really cold and want to go put on pants. But I owed you all a video, and so I wanted to do the final my Identities video. You know, like, comment, subscribe, the usual. Oh man, I forgot to say it in my last video. I think. Maybe I didn't. I hope you have a great day.